Hi, all my beautiful people, beautiful women, men, those who are non-conforming. I'm bored, so I thought I'd pop on and do a video. I'm not bored, I'm just restless. I've been out and about today and went to one of our favorite coffee shops. My kids like to go to coffee shops. They're 9 and 13 and they have grown up going to coffee shops, like local coffee shops. And 13 does now drink coffee like a mocha from time to time. And we of course have Kitty because I'm her ESA. But I don't know, I don't know, I feel like doing something, but I don't really know what to do. I finished a book the other day. I started a new one. I just didn't get into it. I finished it, but I didn't really get into it. And I started a new one, and based on the description, I think I would really like it, but it is a Japanese translation. And my problem with translated books is that sometimes the translator just is literally thinking about translating this into this language and not so much the craft that a writer put into a piece of prose or whatever it is. And I think sometimes things get lost in translation. Anyway, I literally have read like a page of it and I'm just like not into it. I'm gonna keep going with it, but anyway, my point is that I don't really know what to do with myself. So I thought, as I'm kind of figuring out what this whole, I don't like calling it a love journey. We need a new name, a new phrase. But I don't know, this finding connection, I don't know, whatever. I thought we'd talk about self-care and what you're doing today to engage in some self-care. I went and got a pedicure, and I don't think I can show it on camera, but I don't know, like every 2-3 months go get a pedicure. Like that's kind of my big time to just really relax and be pampered. However, the prices went up on my salon. I was like, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to do this for my self-care. I stopped getting manicures a long time ago. I paint my own nails. I do my own manicures now. Right now they're not painted, but I did do a manicure, so. But I did like a cherry red, because I'm very drawn to red like now, and specifically cherry red, and I'm also drawn to like the scent and taste of cherries, and not like, I don't typically like cherry flavored things like cherry flavored soda or candy, but like actual cherries. And so I don't know what that's about. But I actually kind of have a thing that I might do sometime this week about kind of sensual things we can do to show ourselves love. And by that I don't mean that in a sexual way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We can talk about that too. But just, sensory things that can kind of bring us joy and get us into a certain mood. But anyway, so I don't know, I thought I'd talk about like self-care, self-love, and finding time to do that in, I mean, if you can in a day, like even just like 5 minutes to just sit on your own. I really want to say this is like addressed to everybody regardless of what gender you identify with, but it's just my personal experience. Like, I think like a lot of men think like, oh, I need self-time, and then like, okay, like you've been on the couch for 4 hours playing video games or reading a book, but yeah, let's talk about how you get your self-care time. But again, I don't want to, exclude anybody from this. So, and I think to particular, if you have kids or you're a caregiver in any capacity, I think it's really important to take time for yourself. And again, you don't have to spend money to do it. It doesn't have to be lengthy, but something. Yeah. So, what are you doing today? Like I said, I went and got my pedicure, and I was on YouTube for a little bit, but YouTube's boring me, so so I'm gonna make a video for YouTube. Maybe we'll do some tarot. I don't know, see what the cards tell us. Actually, I want to do my Beltane Oracle. I just realized I'm using my phone to record, so I'm gonna have to figure out a different way to read my cards. This is the Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle, or Beltana, as everybody now wants to keep calling it. I mean, that might technically be the pronunciation, but anyway, I'm using my yoga pillow here to shuffle. I don't know. I need a good situation. Like, I'm in my witchy room right now, and I love it in here. And like every time people come in here, they're like, "Oh wow, you really made this a nice space." But I don't have anywhere to sit. I sit on my yoga mat, and that's fine for yoga or for short periods of time, but it's not great for all the time, and especially when I'm doing tarot. I'd like to have something better to sit on, and I would like I want to go to thrifting and see if I can find like a smallish coffee table. Because like downstairs we have one of those big like square shaped ones. I don't want anything that big. More of like a traditional coffee table, kind of that 1980s, 1990s, rectangle. Because then I can like lay things out and I have room. And then like, I don't know, something to sit on, because I don't have anything to sit on in here. But anyway, let's see here. So these are my Beltane Oracle cards. I usually use these a lot in May and even throughout summer. But I haven't been doing them as much right now. Hey, Declan. Oh, Declan. Oh, 13. I need your help. I'm using my phone, so I can't read the cards. What card is that?
Bonfire.
Ooh, can you find it in the book? Ooh, I kind of like that bonfire. Actually, we'll take pictures of these. Kitty, don't mess with my cards, okay? Okay, don't mess with my cards.
Found it.
Can you read it? What's it say?
Is it though? Remember, you can that you will wake ritual of your existence and be born to mighty salvation.
Okay, you can stop. It's okay. I'm gonna do it intuitively. I'm probably gonna do tarot too, so I'll call you back in a minute.
Hello.
Yeah. So I'm an intuitive reader, by the way, and yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'm also blind, so that's why I'm saying I can't read my cards. I usually have an app on my phone that can read words and describe images. So that's how I do my tarot and my oracle. But I'm an intuitive reader, so I'm more kind of intuitive, meaning more than anything. But the minute I pulled this, I was like, yeah, a bonfire. I think that's where we're all at. Lighting that fire within. And I should have asked him what the visual is on this card. Yeah, it's lighting that fire within. And I mean, the really is like goes hand in hand with what I was saying about igniting something in yourself that makes you want to take care of yourself and show yourself love. Finding that path to, I was just like, it literally just popped in my head, self-divinity, and I don't really say things like that. But yeah, I think finding that divine nature, that divine power in you, and not everybody here might be, a witch or have a magical practice, but I think just thinking of it in terms of we hold a lot of power within ourselves. And when we find that fire deep within, it really, I'm going to keep going with the metaphor, really fuels, our system and, allows us to operate in the world in a very different way. I'm just kind of thinking if anything else is going to pop in my head. You know what? I want to work with my Wizard of Oz tarot because I've been very drawn to this deck lately. I got it a couple years ago, maybe. I have a very deep connection to Wizard of Oz. And I had to have these cards. I wish they would make more Wizard of Oz decks. But I don't know why. I love this deck, and since about mid-February, I've been very drawn to working. Now, it doesn't shuffle all that great, but that's okay. Anyway, but no, I think that taking time to really honor yourself and to find, I don't know, this sounds so cliche, but like, what does light you up? Like, what is something, like, I'll tell you what's really been lighting me up lately, and it's the most mundane thing. Sorry, I'm trying to like focus on where the camera is, but it's bright, so, and then the lights behind it are bright, so I'm sort of, anyway, whatever. If you don't like how I'm looking at the camera, then that's your problem, not mine. Oops, shit. Anyway, like, I do, I have my morning coffee, and I've been sitting out on the patio, and I'm not even meditating. I'm just literally sat there, just listening to nature, feeling the breeze. Every now and then I'll kind of have some stuff come up, and I'm like, ooh, that's good, I'm gonna write that down. And, but it's not even about that. It's just, I don't know, I'm in this moment of like just really wanting to connect with the world, and not just nature, but definitely, that involves nature. And I mean, I live in a big city, so it is what it is. But nonetheless, we have a decent outdoor area, and there's lots of birds, and Puppy and I sit there, and it's just a really nice experience just sitting there, and it really does energize me for the day. It just sort of, it grounds me. It's very grounding, obviously, but it's also, I don't know, it's time for me. I think that's, now that I'm like talking about it out loud, I'm like, I think that's part of it too. It's time for me where I'm not focused on anything else but me, and just sitting there and having the healing energy of nature around me. So, just something small like that, it's amazing how it can impact us. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what we have in the cards. So apparently we're going to sing today. What messages do we have today? Messages. I'm feeling this one. What we have today for our messages. Really, this one. Okay. Pulling from the top. Let's get one more. Alrighty. Declan! Taro boy, I need some eyeballs. Oh, yeah, we'll put this in now.
Your eyeballs have arrived.
What's this one?
8 of spears.
This one?
King of cans. Eight of bricks. And Queen of Kings.
I mean, I think I have a pretty clear message, but let me just sit with this for a minute. Don't just let her be. Where'd she go? Oh. You're going to face your butt to him. Oh, you're going to face your butt to him. Hi, baby. Yeah. I'm right here. I didn't go anywhere. Okay. Had 8 of swords. Eight of spears is 8 of swords. King of cans is obviously cups. And 8 of bricks is pentacles. I'm just seeing if anything. Sometimes I have like an immediate like word or phrase pop into my head. I'm immediately hearing like trapped and mastery. That's also, yes. I mean, you really can't get much closer to me. I'm like oh my god, I'm gonna sound like a nerd because I'm not a Star Wars person, but you know in the Star Wars movie where the guy with the thing cuts open the animal and then burrows in it to like stay alive? It's like that's what she's trying to do. Anyway, the 8 of swords, you know, is feeling like there's not a way out, you know, kind of that trapped feeling. And 8 of pentacles, literally in traditional meanings is, you know, sort of like mastering a skill. But I think when we're talking about self-care and taking care of ourselves, I think that we get so bogged down with, I literally just heard the trappings in life, but the things in life, and certainly right now, I know the last like 72 hours for me was a little bit of a freak out. Kind of like what's happening in the world and decisions and policies that are being made by people who have the power right now. And usually I stay somewhat balanced amidst all the nonsense happening, particularly for those of us in the US right now. But I don't know, something about the last 72 hours just really hit me. And a couple of times I've had like a panic attack or like I felt the beginnings of one. I've not had one of those in like 20 years. I used to get panic attacks all the time, especially when I was younger. And a lot of times that happens for me when I feel very out of control. And there was something in the last 72 hours, and I'm sure it wasn't just me. I think I was probably picking up some things globally, just as a global empath. It really just have thrown me for a loop. But I think it should kind of narrow this down. Because obviously we as individuals can't change or can't immediately change what's happening in the world unless, you know, I don't know, you have a position of power. But ooh, I just heard, what are we wrapping ourselves in? You know, are we wrapping ourselves in love and love from ourselves and love from those who are around us and who are there and want to give us love. I know for me, sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable and open up, even with people who have made it very clear, like, it's okay to be that way. Like, my best friend is like, Bridget, you know you can do that. I'm like, I know, but like, that's not usually the role I play. And so when that is reciprocated, I don't know what to do with it. And I'm so used to being a caregiver and having to be the rock, having to be the strong one, you know, having to hold it all within. And you can get lost in that sometimes. And this King of Cups, you know, is saying like master, take control of what you can. Find the people, the resources, I just heard intention. Find the intention in a day that helps you to master those emotions. Now listen, we have external things that, you know, are going to tip our emotions one way or another, and that's okay. This is not a space for toxic positivity. You know, most of us are out here struggling to pay our bills and to feed ourselves and our households and, you know, pay our rent. There are some people literally living in war zones and dealing with genocide. I will never be the one to say, oh, you just gotta sit in a high vibration and balance your emotions. Like, no, that's fucking nonsense. But like, what I'm trying to say is, when we sit within that fire within us, you know, that the bonfire here, what can we bring to ourselves to intentionally show ourselves love? Is this making sense? I don't know. Sometimes when I start talking about the message, I feel like I go a little like rambly. I don't know. Yeah, I think these cards are really showing us like what cage have we put ourselves into, and where are we not, I don't want to say that word, how are we straddling the fence of, you know, because oftentimes the King of Cups does show a king kind of standing with one foot on land, one foot on water, or you know, a foot on the land, kind of dipping a toe into the water, something like that. And you know, it's like a visual representation of, you know, are we finding that she's playing? You know, are we being grounded, but still able to let the emotions flow around us? And that's really going to help us take control of how we love ourselves and how we then therefore love others, in a much more meaningful and intentional way. I'm going to stop talking because I feel like I'm rambling, and I get, like, I've done tarot here before, but sometimes I get nervous because I do feel like, I mean, I just worry that, like, and because I'm not a traditional tarot, like, I know the traditional meanings and things, but I also sometimes, sorry, I'm listening for kids too. I also sometimes, like, I don't know, I've had people like want me to like reverse engineer like the meanings, and I'm like, but is it resonating with you? Like, doesn't make sense. Yeah. I'm like, then why are you asking me to like explain my process? Anyway, so point being, this is like way longer than I want it to be. Point being is, what are we doing to, I don't know. Ooh, I just heard indulge ourselves. I think that's okay. That doesn't mean not focus on what's happening in the world. That doesn't mean don't show up and support people who need it. It doesn't mean, you know, don't give a fuck. But take time to indulge yourself. And again, if that's 5 minutes in the bathroom on your phone, you know, go get a bag of gummy bears, and if you eat the whole bag, who cares? If that's sitting down and, you know, I don't know, do something you want to do, write, read, whatever. I mean, I would probably say don't be like on social media or something, but you know, you do you. And because it's hard to love ourselves and even others when we're just going, and we're kind of in the middle of the tornado, if you will. I just realized I said that, and I was using the Wizard of Oz cards. But I don't know. Think of that bonfire, and I will take a picture of these cards and then post them, so you can actually see the cards. The Beltane ones are really beautiful imagery. At least I think so. But yeah, I don't know. Sit this week with really finding that fire within you and bringing yourself, I don't want to say back to yourself, but what am I trying to say? I don't know, yeah, just taking those moments where you can, because you are, when you're doing self-care, you're showing yourself love. And I think that's where it starts. And I think, and again, I don't want to be exclusionary to anybody, but again, based on my experience, I think for a lot of us who identify as women, we're used to it like being the other way around. Like society's taught us to like, no, you don't care for your needs. You're the last one to be thought of. You know, you take care of everybody else first. And I actually think it needs to be the other way around. I think especially if you're in a partnership, if you're a caregiver, you know, if you have kids, you know, if that's kind of the role you play, like in friendship groups, like if you're not, like, if you're running on empty, like literally what do you have to give? You know, like it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I don't know, maybe sit this week. My advice is like to just sit this week and maybe even journal. That's a fantastic way of kind of doing these things. And think about that bonfire. And maybe I'll post some journal prompts as well when I do the pictures. But where can you, or not where can you, like just in whatever way works for you, because like meditation doesn't work. I don't know, meditation is not like the greatest thing for me. Like the traditional way of meditating. I can visualize, even though I'm blind now, but I didn't lose my vision until later in life, so I have a visual reference. But I'm also learning to do more of what is within my body, beyond just visualization. So, you know, if visualization works for you, that's fantastic. But if it doesn't, you know, find what works for you to really just sort of sit and think about that inner fire. And, you know, is it out? You know, does it need to be relit? Does it need to be rekindled? Does it need to be fanned a little bit? You know, I know a few years ago, my fire was out. It had died, and I was not in a great place. And it's taken me a really, really long time to get to a point where, you know, the hearth was going again. And not that I still don't need to kind of, you know, poke it around and you know, rekindle it. As you might notice, I like my metaphors. But I I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a better place now because of that. And so I think just sit and try and find that fire, try and connect with that. And for me, I'm very connected with the element of fire. I work very well with fire. I'm fire magic is like my go-to because we just click. I've been trying to work a lot more with water, and that's been going well, but if I really need something done in a minute, like I turn to fire magic. And you know, and if I'm not trying to make this into like a shadow work thing, but if for some reason stuff comes up, like sit with that, let that happen. Not in a dangerous way, but you know, maybe that's what you need to get. You know, maybe the chimney needs to be cleaned. I don't know. But yeah, sit with that fire and figure out what keeps that fire going. And I don't know, just take time this week at any point. Again, if you can do it daily, fantastic. If you can't, try to do it, you know, a couple times a week, but to really show yourself love. Is that a bath? You know, is that going to bed early? Is that going to bed early? You know, is that setting some boundaries with people, what, you know, kids, partners, friends, what have you, so that you have that time. Because it is okay for us to have that time. And even with all the nonsense happening in the world, it is still okay for us to take 5 minutes and say, I need a minute, I need a beat, and I'm going to take that, and then once I'm done, then I will focus back on you. So, I don't know, I hope all this made sense. Maybe it's helpful, I don't know. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. You know, what do you do for self-care? Anything specific, things in general, you know, is there something you've done lately? So anyway, if you like this, go ahead, like it. If you want to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, so until the next time, all my beautiful, lovely people, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.